Like I said in the preview, guys, we are all sheriff. What a result for them. What a week of Champions League matches. Let's just get into it, right, guys? PSG versus Man City made for some great fun, didn't it? A thoroughly entertaining match that saw PSG start slowly in some ways, while Manchester City were absolutely smothering PSG with their pressing. That was fun to watch, as it was an exhibition of how to press your opponent in their own third at times. Defensively, as the match wore on, PSG got better and better, but it was just that transition from defense to offense that was difficult at times and had me questioning what on earth they were doing, man, making more problems for themselves than they needed. The game really began to open up for PSG, or at least they pushed to get back into it after the unbelievable miss from Manchester City. Beautiful ball into the box, Sterling with a header that rings off the crossbar, and then Bernardo Silva with an open goal manages to hit the bar as well. It made no sense. At that point, you can't even get mad, really. Just look on in disbelief. However, I forgot to mention it already, but despite PSG struggling at times in that first half, they still got themselves in the lead after just 8 minutes. A great bit of work from Messi, Mbappe, and Hakimi down the right. Mbappe with the cutback, and it eventually found its way to Idrissa Gueye, who wired it into the top corner. Neymar with the mishit assist, you could say, prior. He was out of sorts for a bit, but he found his feet later in the match. In that second half, he looked way better. In fact, PSG in general found their feet in that second half. They looked way better and were able to evade the press better. Donnarumma looked unbeatable, and he was. The attack got into flow, and we finally got to see Messi score his first goal for PSG. Fantastic give and go, and then he picked out the top corner. 2-0 PSG, Verratti, Donnarumma, and Idrissa Gueye, the MVPs. Special mention to Mbappe as well. In the other match in Group A, I said don't sleep on Club Brugge, but did I expect them to, hold PSG to a draw and then beat RB Leipzig? Not really. I thought they would be fighters, but ultimately lose out. But I guess with the benefit of hindsight, it's very plausible to see them beating this RB Leipzig side. This RB Leipzig side are one that's still sorting themselves out under Jesse Marsch. It was the first ever meeting between these two, and Christopher Nkunku got it started off well for RB Leipzig as a fluid attacking movement saw Forsberg play him through, and he slotted it past the keeper. Calls for offside, but upon reviewing it, you can see that the goal was good. That's 3 goals in Nkunku's last 2 matches, or 6 in his last 4 appearances following his hat trick against City. But Brugge fought back, driven by Charles de Ketelaere, who got in behind the Leipzig defenders. His cutback to Hans Van Aken made it all too easy. 1-1, and the Brugge onslaught continued. They didn't generate millions of chances, no, but they certainly were able to break down this RB Leipzig defense once again with a cutback from Leipzig's right-hand side into the path of Mats Ritz. It was a match to forget for Simakin on the right side of central defense. 2-1 Brugge, despite a great push from Leipzig in the second. As things stand, PSG and Brugge are in first with an identical record. City on 3 and Leipzig on 0. PSG versus Leipzig and Brugge versus City in the next round. Over in Group B, Liverpool absolutely destroyed FC Porto, and don't take it from me, take it from Porto's manager, who after the match claimed that the youth side would have put up a better fight than these guys. What caused him to say that? Porto losing 5-1 at home, man. Just like Sporting, actually, losing 5-1 at home. Mo Salah made it hurt even further by saying that Liverpool should play all of their home matches at the Dragão. That's a sick burn. Salah was really in the mood in this one, scoring the first with a tap-in from a healthy rebound, starting the nightmare for Diogo Costa in goal for Porto. Bad night for him. Before the half was up, Sadio Mane doubled the lead for Liverpool. Salah tripled it after an hour with Porto all over the shop defensively and caught in transition. And then the wholesale changes happened for Liverpool once the result was secured, but it didn't stop them from scoring. Firmino with a brace, the first one after a comical error from Diogo Costa, which led to him having to race back to try to stop the slow rolling strike, and the second from Firmino from a deflected strike falling into his path. Forgettable night for Porto, great win for Liverpool as the street sweeper goes by outside. Atletico versus AC Milan. AC Milan did so well to get in front at home against Atletico, their first home match in the Champions League for a long time now, actually, and you could tell it was such by the way they celebrated that first goal against Atletico, with Brahim Diaz cooking down the right, drawing defenders. He rolled it to Rafa Leão, and the Portuguese attacker arrowed it into the bottom corner. Like I said during my stream on Tuesday, Leão is such a clearly talented player. It's just a matter of him finding that consistency to deliver regularly. Speaking of finding consistency, Brahim Diaz has been fantastic for AC Milan this season. With that assist, he's been involved in 6 goals from 8 matches so far, but they would get a stick in their spokes via Kestier getting his second yellow in the 29th minute for a late challenge on Llorente from behind. Looked like he got ball, but if I had to guess, I would say the referee didn't see that and all he saw was the foot-on-foot action. Feel for them as they were absolutely flying until that point, and then Atletico started to take over the match a little bit. But they wouldn't actually find a breakthrough until the 84th minute. The misfiring attack from Atleti that has struggled in the last while, Griezmann and Suarez yet to find that chemistry. They finally scored late on with Lodi nodding a ball into the center for Griezmann to finish brilliantly, his first since his return, and then the controversy. And I feel for AC Milan once again, as the penalty decision against Kalulu was a bit of a farce in my opinion. Lamar, not on purpose by the way, but Lamar pushing the ball onto Kalulu's hand with his own hand, and Kalulu was the man punished for it after about 4 minutes of VAR analyzing the play. I feel for AC Milan. Suarez converts his first Champions League goal for Atleti with the 2-1 win. So, 2 close losses for Milan leaves them on 0 points. Porto on 1 in third, Atleti in second with 4, and a perfect record thus far for Liverpool, as they will face Atleti in a doubleheader. After a massive win against Sporting in Lisboa, Ajax played at home against Besiktas and the visitors nearly opened the scoring, with Michi hitting the post after about 10 minutes or so, but Ajax took control of the game from there in a big way. That was one of 4 attempts from Besiktas, none of which forcing a save out of Pasveer. Antony had a strike kiss the post on the way past the wrong side of it, but Steven Berghuis converted minutes later after Dusan Tadic made a driving run from the flank into the box. Berghuis then played setup man to Sebastian Haller later in the first half with a teasing ball to the near post that Haller kneed into the goal. 2-0, Haller with 5 goals in the Champions League thus far, Berghuis with a ridiculous run of form as he has been involved in at least 1 goal in every single appearance, but 2 thus far for Ajax. Talk about starting on the right foot with your new club. In all, he's been involved in 10 goals in the last 6 matches for Ajax, 2-0 the final. The other match in this group saw a Dortmund side that was seriously lacking in some Haaland come up against Sporting, trying to get a fresh start after that drubbing that Sporting suffered at home against Ajax. And despite missing their main man, Haaland, Dortmund were able to get the 1-0 win with a goal from Daniel Malen. But the big thing in this one, besides Malen getting a goal, was Dortmund finally getting a clean sheet. Now, Malen looked good out there, and him getting a goal will be a huge relief. His first for his new side after 523 minutes for Dortmund. Played through by Jude Bellingham, he was able to use his strength and pace to just get enough space from Coates before rolling it into the corner. Not the most exciting match, this one. Just 4 shots on target combined. Solid win for Dortmund though. Not the expansive attacking football that we're used to from them, but they played a clean game and got that first clean sheet because of it. First clean sheet, first goal for Daniel Malen. Solid. Dortmund are in second just behind Ajax. We'll get to watch them play Ajax next. 0 points apiece for Sporting and Besiktas, who will have to capitalize on Dortmund and Ajax potentially dropping points in the next 2 match days as they are facing each other. Inter and Shakhtar put in another stinker in Group D, just as they did last season. This match was a big skip, as Inter's top player was Skriniar, while De Zerbi's Shakhtar looked threatening on the counter at times. 0-0 the final though. Now the other match, that was truly something special, man. Real Madrid playing host to Sheriff Tiraspol at the Bernabeu. Sheriff with none of the ball in this one, with few chances, and with a keeper that was playing possessed in this one. Georgios Athanasiadis made 10 saves on the day. 10! Trust me when I say that Sheriff were defending all night. Trust me when I say that they played heroically, and that Real Madrid do have themselves to blame, at least in some respects. A ton of credit goes to Sheriff, but Real Madrid maybe could have had a little bit better finishing. But anyway, Sheriff scored after 24 minutes as the assist master, that is Cristiano, set up Yakshiboev for the header. Fantastic moment for Sheriff to take the lead at the Bernabeu as they picked their moments well, and they made the most of them. Now in the second half, Vinicius thought he'd won a penalty as his foot was clipped. Nothing given, but about a minute later, he was awarded for his efforts as he was sandwiched between 2 Sheriff defenders as he got the beating of them. This time it was given, and Benzema converted brilliantly into the top left corner. Side netting, man. Sick strike. Vinicius was getting more and more dangerous down that left flank in the second half. Another decent performance from him. Modric forced a big save out of the keeper once again, but he took it off the jaw. He took it on the chin, quite literally. But anyway, credit to Sheriff, who didn't collapse after conceding, as was the risk, and they continued to defend well. And my God, did Till ever strike the ball well in the 89th minute. A wonder strike for Sheriff, the cleanest of volleys, arrowed into the top corner. Sheriff with a miraculous result to get their second win of this campaign, beating Real Madrid in the Bernabeu. Incredible. Man, what's with Real Madrid and Eastern European sides? Losing twice to CSKA Moskva a couple of years ago, losing twice to Shakhtar last season, and now losing to Sheriff at home, no less. So, Sheriff sit atop the group with 6 points, 3 ahead of Real Madrid. Inter and Shakhtar with 1 apiece. Stop the count, man. Stop the count. Over in Group E, we'll get to Benfica in a moment. But first, Bayern Munich smashed Dinamo 5-0 in Munich. Robert Lewandowski grabbed a first half brace. 1 from the spot, 1 supplied by Thomas Müller, the iconic duo, really. Easy finish for him after Müller played him through well as they caught Dinamo trying to transition to the attack, but Sula did well to break that up and some Bayern in the other direction. Nagelsmann has horses for courses now, and while he didn't roll out the 3 at the back formation this time, I wonder when or if it will become a regular fixture. I would bet yes. But anyways, Leroy Sané continued his good run with an assist for Serge Gnabry. Sané has been involved in at least 1 goal in his last 7 appearances for Nagelsmann. A stunning counter as Sané released Gnabry down the right, and he smashed it in off the bar. You know I love that. Sané then scored 1 himself. Did he mean it? Maybe not. I'm not sure, but it looked good nonetheless. Leathered into the goal. And as is becoming the habit lately, Choupo-Moting comes onto the pitch and scores. 3 in the last 5 appearances for Choupo-Moting, and this one was a great header. 5-0 Bayern, ruthless from them. Speaking of, well, not quite as ruthless as Bayern, that's the best team in the world that we're talking about. But Benfica, man, 3-0 versus Barcelona. Let's go. Man, watching Benfica in the Champions League is most often just a painful experience for us. But this time, all is well at the moment. Benfica still yet to lose this season. And up against FC Barcelona, I was confident that we would fight. But with players like Depay, Frankie de Jong on the pitch, Pedri, etc., there's still always a threat from Barcelona. But for every quality player, there's an Eric Garcia or a Luke de Jong. The former, actually, was spun by Darwin Núñez just minutes into this match, and the Uruguayan made no mistake with the finish, getting Benfica the lead after 3 minutes. A great ball forward from Weigl, Darwin exploiting that space in the inside right channel of Barcelona's defense in between the center backs and the wing backs, and the finish to boot from Darwin, which isn't a guarantee for him, but he's been great this season. Benfica started well, but Frankie de Jong was, as mentioned, began causing major issues with his runs from deep, going beyond Luke de Jong and Depay, getting in behind Benfica's back line. Him and Pedri were linking up well. He was breaking up the play as well in the midfield. I mean, he was a monster out there. Easily the best player on the pitch for FC Barcelona. We saw Piqué get subbed out early as he was looking like a guaranteed red card following his 12th minute yellow. In fact, he was extremely fortunate to not get a second yellow, and as soon as he fouled Rafa that second time, Koeman took him off. Lucky to get the opportunity to do so, to take him off, because he should have been gone prior to that, but who cares, man? Because Koeman helped Benfica out a lot by moving Frankie de Jong to the back line for the second half, making it much easier for our defenders. And Barcelona didn't really threaten in that second half, did they? Benfica with some solid counter-attacking football spurred by man of the match, João Mario. Rafa gets the second penalty for Darwin to make it 3-0, and Barcelona suffer their second consecutive 3-0 loss in the Champions League. Man, they couldn't get a goal with Gilberto and Andre Almeida on the flanks, as my man Miguel pointed out. Love those two to bits, of course, but they are certainly not impenetrable by any means. Man, I'm happy. We haven't won anything yet, of course, but this is something to be enjoyed, for sure. Benfica in second, behind Bayern, Dinamo on 1 point, and Barça on 0. But they have a chance to turn things around with their next 2 matches against Dinamo, while Benfica has the unenviable task of taking on Bayern twice. Again, the best team in the world in the moment, in my opinion. Over in Group F, Atalanta finally started playing some Gasperini ball in the second half against Young Boys. Finally, after struggling a bit so far this season, squeezing out a draw against Villarreal in the last match, they got a 1-0 win at home against Young Boys from Switzerland, thanks to a Matteo Pessina goal. Great work from Duvan Zapata for the goal though, by the way. And if I speak about some of the misses from the likes of Pessina in this one, should have been more, but a win is a win for La Dea. Over in the other match, if you are to look at any headline or take in the reactions from United supporters, they are by no means happy with the performance by their squad, but the 2-1 win will come as a major relief. Villarreal were the team that were forcing the issue for much of the first half, forcing some good saves out of David De Gea, who has absolutely been a bright spot for United this season, hasn't he? He made 6 saves in this one, including a brilliant save in the 10th minute at full stretch. What a save that was. But in the 53rd minute, he couldn't keep Paco Alcacer's effort out. Paco making up for that opportunity he missed in the 30th minute. Great build-up play, great ball down the left to release Danjuma, and Paco just had to guide the ball into the back of the net. 1-0 Villarreal at that point, and they were great value for it as well. But Alex Telles, who finally cut his hair, so shout out to him, hit a ludicrous volley from outside of the box, straight into the bottom corner. Stunning goal from nothing, really, in the 85th minute. In the 85th minute, Dia nearly put Villarreal ahead once again, and he paid for it in the end, didn't he? He paid for that miss because Lingard with the touch wide to Ronaldo, and it just went in off of the keeper for the winner. Like I said, not a great performance, harsh on Villarreal, but a win is a win, and a win is what Oli desperately needed. Also, a massive shout out to Edinson Cavani, who was full of running and industry once he came onto the pitch. One of the hardest working players out there. So, the standings. Atalanta are actually your leaders on 4 points. United and Young Boys on 3 apiece, and Villarreal are truly unlucky to have just the single point. They really are terrible at getting results over the line, aren't they? Emery has been really struggling with that, both in Europe and domestically now. Over in Group G, where draws happen. That's their specialty. And there was no exception here with Wolfsburg and Sevilla playing out a 1-1 draw. Wolfsburg not looking great, are they? That Van Bommel slander from me wasn't completely unwarranted. The wheels are slowly starting to come, maybe not come off, but they're loose, boy, and they're squeaking. Anyways, they didn't look fantastic in their match at home against Sevilla, eventually ending in a 1-1 draw. Renato Steffen with the goal for Wolfsburg, a bit of a messy one against the run of play, but hey, they'll take it. For Sevilla, they grabbed an equalizer via the penalty spot after... Honestly, man, I have no idea what the call was. It looked to me like the defender cleared the ball fine, but the referee punished him for the follow-through, meaning Gilavogi was sent off and there was a penalty. Confusing as hell. That was a weird penalty. A couple of weird penalties this week, but Rakitic managed to convert 1-1. Wild stuff. And in the other match, we saw RB Salzburg continuing the hurt for Lille. Lille's appointment of Guvernek was definitely a downgrade at the time of making it. A downgrade from Christophe Galtier, of course, who went to Nice. And unfortunately for them, it's panned out as a major downgrade on the pitch as well. Lille losing yet another match this season after being such a force in France last year. Adeyemi with the brace for Salzburg, what a talent he is. He'll be on his way somewhere soon, no doubt. The next big thing out of RB Salzburg's ridiculous talent identification and development program. The conveyor belt of talent that they have there. Lille did pull one back thanks to Burak Yilmaz, but 2-1 the final for RB Salzburg. A big 3 points for them, and that actually moved them to the top of the table in Group G. Love that for them. Sevilla and Wolfsburg on 2 points, Lille on 1. And finally, we'll quickly wrap up in Group H, where Zenit lay the smackdown on Malmö. 4-0 there with goals from Claudinho, Kuzayev, Sutorman, and Wendell. Shout out to their families. Chelsea, who haven't been in good form at all lately, bar that 45 minutes against Tottenham. And despite Juve not having Morata or Dybala, they still struggled up against Juve. Yes, they dominated the ball, but they had one shot on target. One. It's wild to think of. Lukaku was still yet to score when coming up against Chiellini and Bonucci. And after that miss in this match, that run continues. Sort of, because De Ligt actually got the start alongside Bonucci. Chiellini came on later. It won't have been a pretty match for Juve supporters, but the result is all that matters. Chiesa continues to be the most dangerous attacker for Juve, in my opinion. Shout out to Locatelli in the midfield, and shout out to Chiellini for calling this as one of the easiest matches to prepare for of late. Apparently, they knew exactly how Chelsea would play, and Chelsea played it to their hands. Credit to them for executing. And by the way, Chelsea, if you can score first against them, you definitely have a chance at some points. They only have one comeback win under Tuchel, according to Matt Law, though. So if that stat is wrong, then complain to him. But from my quick check, I think it's correct. Standings? This group is wide open now with Juve on 6 points, Chelsea and Zenit on 3 apiece, and Malmo, well, 0. But hey, man, the magic can still come into play. All right, boys and girls, it's time for me to say goodbye to you all. I appreciate all of you who have shown up for the live streams this week, enjoyed the content, and for those who have joined the channel as well recently. Thank you guys, very much appreciated. My name's Adrian, this is Rabona TV, and we will see you tomorrow. Ciao.